Welcome back to our mini-series on meditation for beginners. Last week we already looked at how the impurities of the mind can present us with different hindrances when we come to meditate. But this week we're going to look at the interrelationship between meditation and our aim in life to see how we can more easily manage our time in order to have time to meditate in our lives. Did you ever feel that life is passing you by at an alarming pace? Well, we start off young in life. We grow up to go to primary school, and then to secondary school, and then we go to university and we get ourselves a degree. And with a nice degree we can get a nice job. And when we have a nice job, we can get a nice wife. And before long we have our own children. And then we find ourselves getting older. And then eventually the doctor comes to visit us more frequently, and then they put you in a wooden box. Some people wonder if there really isn't something more to life than all of this. And if we're not careful, it's as if life is living us instead of us living our own lives. Instead of achieving the things which we really wanted to do in our lives, sometimes we may find by the end of our life that we haven't done more of the things that have really mattered to us. In fact, each day is made up of 24 hours. But how much of that time do we spend asleep? For some people it's 5 hours, maybe 6 hours. For some people as much as maybe 10 hours a day. But on average it's about 8 hours. And how much of our time do we spend working or studying? Again, we tend to put in about an 8-hour day. If we're studying, it's about 8 hours, and that's not counting the overtime we may do. So already of the 24 hours in our day, that's 16 of our hours, our precious time, which has been used up with things which have not really been of any great importance to us. The remaining 8 hours of our day is often spent doing insignificant things like walking up and down, eating, cooking, washing up, watching the television. Really, these things haven't really added much spiritual benefit to our lives. You may think that day by day this is not adding up to a very important incursion in your life. But if you think of yourself at the age of 60, and you've already spent 20 years of your life asleep, 20 years of your life working or studying, and another 20 years of your life walking up and down, cooking, eating, washing up, or watching the television, then I think you'd agree that it's hard to know where to find time to sit and meditate for yourself. If you find that there are things which are interrupting your life, which are maybe urgent but not important, then this is a sign that you are having difficulty in setting the priorities in your life. And the reason why you find it hard to find priorities in your life is because your aim in life is not clear. Usually in the culture surrounding meditation, we talk about 3 different levels of aim in life. And it depends on just how devoted you are to your spiritual practice. You can talk about an exclusively material aim in your life. You can talk about a spiritual and material aim in your life, which is a combination. And you can talk about an exclusively spiritual aim in life. If you're talking about an exclusively material aim in life, this is for the sort of person who thinks that time is money and nothing more. Their whole aim in life is to make heaven on earth by earning as much money as they can in order to buy the happiness which they wish for in life. If you think about this sort of person, perhaps it's going to be your stereotyped businessman who spends all his time working just in order to get the maximum possible wage. At the other end of the extreme, you have those who have the exclusively spiritual aim in life. And here you're talking about monks, maybe nuns, who have given up all the conveniences of their material life in order to have more time to devote to their spiritual practices. For these sort of people, their happiness in life is coming entirely from spiritual sources. Unlike the first example where the person's happiness in life was coming entirely from material sources. But I think most of the viewers on this program will find themselves somewhere in between. That is, that they must have a compromise between what we call a material aim in life and a spiritual aim in life. In this sort of level of aim in life, the important thing is to have the ability to compromise and to divide your time carefully in order to get by in a material way, while also finding time to pursue your spiritual practices in life. On today's program, we're going to take a look at some ways in which it's possible to make the most of this compromise. Of course, you can't neglect your material well-being completely. You need to have something to eat after all and a place to sleep. But exactly how to find time to meditate more? This is the question of compromise in our lives. Well, there are 5 different approaches to finding a compromise in life. The first of these is what we call a part-time spiritual pursuit in life. And I think this is probably what you're already doing. If you're already setting aside a part of your day in order to meditate, maybe for half an hour or an hour a day, it's like you're working on meditation as a part-time job, doing it daily, but setting aside a part of your time in your life so that it becomes a part of your daily routine. For example, some people meditate in the morning before they have their breakfast, or maybe they meditate the last thing at night before they go to bed. But if it's a regular part of their daily routine, then again it's becoming part of their part-time pursuit of a spiritual practice. This is one way of meeting the compromise in life concerning our limited time. Some people work far too hard even to find time to meditate on a daily basis. Some people come home from work and they're so tired that they cannot even sit up to watch the television, let alone sit for meditation. And in such a case, sometimes it's necessary, instead of pursuing our spiritual practice on a daily basis, is to set aside chunks of our time, perhaps a part of the year or a part of our career time, in order to pursue what we call a sabbatical pursuit of a spiritual aim in life. This is rather like the university professors who must do research in order to have something new to teach their students now and then. If you just work and work and work, then you have nothing new to teach your students. In the same way with meditation, if you work and nothing else, then you have no new inspirations to bring back to your work. So sometimes it's good to take a certain length of time off from your work in order to replenish your spiritual batteries. For students, and especially good opportunity is the time which is known as a year out, which you can sometimes take between secondary school and university, or sometimes at the end of your university studies before you start your career. Sometimes you can take a whole year out to travel and to do spiritual pursuits. This is a very good opportunity for those who may not have such a lot of time on their hands later in life. Or for those who are in old age, perhaps this is a time when you can go into spiritual pursuits in more depth than before. Also, in some countries it's possible to take a career break where they keep your job for you and allow you to go abroad to study something or to do spiritual research. This is also a good opportunity to take if you're someone who is interested in meditation. So apart from part-time pursuit and sabbatical pursuit, what other choices do we have available to us for those who want to pursue spiritual pursuits hand in hand with a material pursuit? Well, some people have to work very hard. So hard perhaps that they don't have the time to stop and meditate very much. If this is the case, then one possible solution is to choose the sort of work you do to be work which is actually spiritually rewarding in itself. Of course, there are many sorts of work which you can choose in life. You can be a banker, you can be an accountant, and sometimes you don't see the smiles on the faces of the people who you've helped by your work. This is in contrast to work like being a nurse or a social worker, whereby your actions you can really see the joy and the satisfaction which you bring to others by the work you are doing. Sometimes if you're a person who is involved with spiritual pursuits in life, it is useful to choose a career path where you can get some job satisfaction from seeing the good you're doing for the world. This can leave you tired at the end of the day, but it leaves you tired while at the same time feeling that you've contributed something worthwhile to society. If this is the case, then you can be fulfilling your spiritual pursuit while actually on the job. Sometimes these sort of work is not as well paid as being an accountant or a bank manager, for example, but on the inside it's more spiritually replenishing than simply having a higher wage. So if that's the sort of compromise which you are aiming for in life, then this may be a way of keeping up your spiritual batteries even though you may have to work hard in life. A fourth way to find more time for yourself in order to pursue your spiritual practices is by simplifying your ties in life. This may be a surprising suggestion for some of you, but I'm sure you are not aware just how much time it takes out of your possible spiritual pursuits in life if you have to make compromises with other members of your family. The moment you get married, then every time you wish to do something, then you have to ask your better half for permission to do it. If you have your own children, then it's like you have to ask them for permission, and you have to always think of them before you think of yourself. Sometimes being alone you have a lot more freedom, and to stay single or to lead a celibate life, this is more and more a choice which modern people are using in order to give themselves the freedom to pursue their spiritual pursuits in life at a more intense level. So before you take the jump to get married or to have a lot of children, perhaps you should consider the consequences of these in terms of the compromising you'll make for your spiritual pursuits in life as well. Supposing all of the four suggestions we've already made are still impossibilities for yourself, maybe you have to work too hard, maybe you can't afford to take time off, maybe you have no free time in your daily routine, you have to work hard, and maybe you have to work in a career which is not spiritually uplifting at all. Is there still a way in which you can find a compromise for spiritual pursuits in life? Well, the answer is yes, there is a fifth way of doing that. And that is to use the wealth which you have gained from your material pursuits in life to a spiritual end. Supposing that you have used up all your time in earning a lot of wealth for yourself, in fact you can use this wealth in order to produce more benefit in society, which can bring some satisfaction from all the work you have done in life. To this end, there are many examples of entrepreneurs who have done a lot for those in society by using their business incomes to help out in society more and more. You can do this in many ways, simple ways or in complex ways, not just simply giving to charity, but helping to bring maybe even your parents more happiness in life by giving them gifts as a token of your gratitude for all they've done for you since you've been a person who is unable to fend for themselves in life. So if you are in the position of the compromise between material and spiritual aims in life, hopefully these 5 suggestions are going to be useful to you as a way to find more structure in your life in order to be able to set aside time, in order to meditate more and to spend more time with your spiritual pursuits. In the words of a young meditator in Thailand, sometimes we don't think hard enough about our own lives. There's a child once who said that sometimes adults give less thought to their own lives than they do to a game of chess. And this is really telling us that we do need to be strategic about the ways we use our time in our life. Otherwise we have no idea what we're going to achieve by the age of 25, by the age of 40 or 60 in our lives. We still have no idea of this. Maybe it's time to sit down and to make some plans in life about the things which could happen in life and the things that probably will happen unless we take an active input into our way we organize our life. So this week we've been looking at the interplay between aim in life and progress in meditation. We have seen how having a clear aim in life can help us to find the time we need to meditate in our daily lives. Next time we're going to be going on to look at some strategies in coping with different sorts of problems encountered in daily life. In the meantime, please try to sit for meditation daily if possible, and do try to keep a diary of your meditation results as well. So until the same time next week, I'll leave you at that for now.